Well, after almost 8 years since it first entered the ring, the Kershaw Bareknuckle is back for a rematch. And we're going to discover if its new workout routine has crafted it into a world-class pocket knife, or if it's going to fade once again into the history books. Well, how we doing, gear lovers the world over? Kershaw has sure given us a little surprise. When I saw that they were re-releasing with a full redesign, a really unique folder from back in 2018 when I first reviewed the Bareknuckle 0777, which is based off of the ZT 0777. And that was a really interesting kind of larger design, had a subframe lock flipper, it was a manual back when Kershaw wasn't really doing a lot of manuals, and it just really offered kind of the feel of a zero tolerance, but at under $100. The problem with that model was mainly in how high they had placed the subframe lock, making it almost impossible to deploy unless you held it in a very unique, kind of goofy way, and it was just not a very organic functioning deployment in the design. And so it kind of went by the wayside. I got rid of it pretty quickly. The pocket clip was one of their older short flared out pocket clips that was really tough to get your pants over, and there were just some execution points that made it fall flat and eventually kind of fade out. So have they fixed those issues with this new 6777 Bareknuckle? Well, this is what we get in this redesign, and shout out if you are still owning the original model. I'd love to know those of you who still sport that thing. First and foremost, they totally swapped out the pocket clip, and it is excellent. It's ambidextrous, it's deep ride loop over, no screws to worry about. Excellent, perfect amount of tension and flex, easily goes over reinforced pockets, and it's going to be a deep ride. Along with that, they have now put their Dura lock on there, crossbar lock, let's freaking go. And they have kept the KVT ball bearings, so it means it is creamy smooth on the deployment. It no longer has a flipper, which I think is a good thing. If you were to ask me between flippers and thumb studs, I prefer thumb studs, and they've done these big, beefy, bare knuckle level thumb studs that make the deployment excellent, but there's enough weight on this 3.5-inch blade that you can whip that thing open and not even touch the blade. So that is an excellent action as well. Therefore, I'm pleased to report that the two Achilles heels of the original design have been completely remedied straight out of the gate. The ride now works perfectly, the action is excellent, and I have zero complaints.
All right, guys, I don't know what happened. Partially through this video, I get this like quail dangler hanging down on my forehead and didn't notice it for the whole rest of the video. My camera screen is like really small. So I get in the editing room and I just see this thing like hanging down on my forehead. And I'm like, oh, the whole rest of the video is good. I like what I said. And you know, it hit the points that I wanted to. I'm not gonna go back out and reshoot it. So I hope you guys enjoy that little wardrobe malfunction.
Now, this is a good sized handle at 4.75 inches. That means that I'm gonna get full real estate on those large size hands. Very nice with that flow through construction, which means that this blade, though large, is going to weigh under 3.5 ounces, which is just bonkers, guys. And along with that, you may be curious about what steel they chose. Still building this right here in the USA. The original model came with 14C28N, very decent steel, and when it was running around $70, totally made sense in 2018, 2019 when it dropped. They have chosen Magna Cut steel. Oh yeah. HRC 6264 still, man, with a PVD coating. Let's go. Let's go with this model. And we're about to find out here through all the cutting tests how it performs, how it stacks up to the recently released Bel Air XL. We're going to talk about sizing, comparative options, as well as how it stacks up to a ZT model that we have looked at in the past. But probably the most exciting aspect is the price. Yeah. Now, I appreciate Kershaw sending me this sample ahead of time so I could test it out, use it, carry it. It has not left my pocket since I got it. I was like so stoked when I saw that this was dropping. But I didn't know, you know, what's the street price on this thing. And, you know, I was like, kind of like, oh man, I sure hope it's, you know, not like crazy. Today at drop, when I'm making this video, this thing starts at 180 bucks. $180 is what I saw over on Knife Center, between 180 and 200 bucks, depending on who, what, when, where, why. I'm gonna have links over to the affiliate programs I partner with, including Knife Center and Blade HQ and any of these other places, Amazon eventually, all that. Dude, at under $200 for an American-made crossbar lock magnet cut tool of this size is so awesome to see that Kershaw is still able to hit value and give us an American-made tool and not cost us an arm and a leg. So with that said, let's jump in, let's use this blade, see how it actually performs, because that's all good in theory, but it's got to cut, right? I mean, that's the whole point of a knife. It's got to cut well. Let's see how it performs. Hit it, dude. Oh my gosh. Zipping through the cardboard. Your kid's package that just arrived, or your next knife. Your next knife after this knife. Because let's get real. If you're watching this video, you're probably in the minority of amazing human beings that the rest of the world would call crazy, who love edged tools. And this is getting dominated. This is getting dominated. Oh my gosh. Corrugated plastic. Like it was nothing. Like it was absolutely nothing. That's what the one awesome part about any blade shape like this like Warncliffe sheep's foot design. I know there's a difference, but there we go. The tip geometry is just so awesome for this type of draw cut. A draw cut going through different material is superb, and that means that like that much, you know, is going to get work with a lot, but I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that. Okay, how about some polyurethane? I don't know, poly something, 1/4 inch tubing, like you could maybe call it like medical tubing. I don't know. This nice little rocking, because it, you know, and that would also be a little bit like a chef knife profile. Nothing wrong with that. Boom. That means like almost a guillotine level. Boom. Going right through it. Okay, water pipe is no freaking joke. So we're gonna see here with a roll, can it get through this polymer? I'm putting tons of pressure to get through there, but it feels great, guys. It feels like I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's so hot, you know, and like uncomfortable. Yeah, we got through it. Did it. Get it, get it. Oh, get it. Okay, so I'm definitely having to do a little bit of a drag, more than I have to with maybe, let's just see here, with a used Bel Air, same steel, different grind. Okay, it's about the same. Yeah, about the same. Okay, never mind. JK. But that's why we test stuff, guys. That's why we freaking test stuff. And I actually use the tools versus doing hand puppetry on a tabletop only. I do tabletops. I'm actually going to probably be doing more in 2026, so I can churn out my opinion on more tools for you. I have such a backlog, but and the whole point of this channel is to give you guys info, data, and just show you cool tools, and just so you know what's out there. You know, I love my secondary kind of like air quotes hobby, even though I'm by no means a mechanic. It's just cars. Like I love cars, moving, you know, vehicles. I love old stuff. I'm really into some like early 2000s Chevy and GMC stuff right now, like 2500, 60 Suburbans, if I found one, and God willing, at some point in my life, I might pick up one of those, 4x4, of course. But anyway, like that's a hobby. I mean, I watch videos on cars all the time. I'm gonna be buying, you know, a Porsche, you know, 911 Turbo from 1984 and know all the details about it. Of course not, but it's just fun to watch and just kind of cool and interesting. And How does it work? What's good about it? What's not? What to beware of? It's not on my radar. Probably never going to pull the trigger, but it's good to know and just fun and entertaining. And I'm a closet gearhead in that way. Even though I, can do some very basic car maintenance. I wish I could do more, but you got to pick and choose, right? Now, I would not be hiking with this knife. It wouldn't be definitely my like outdoor EDC. Aluminum handles just don't do it for me in that way, unless they're very heavily textured. There are a few knives out there, but you're just in the backyard and hanging out with the kids, and it's like, oh, let's do some feather sticking really quick, and you just want to bust it out. I mean, this is busting it out. Faux show. With that high flat grind, man. And I like how I can really get over that. That is cool. I can really rest my finger right there if I want to really guide that tool. So there you go. Very cool, high performing. You're going to get a little bit more oomph behind it than on a Bel Air XL with that full flat grind. So that's just something to kind of consider. Do you prefer mega sliciness? Do you like a little bit lower grind? It's still, it's very similar. You'd be hard pressed, me testing out knives constantly, like I can tell the difference, but that's just something to be aware of. But great size, great value, breathing new life into an old design that was going into the history books and going to fade away and probably no one ever, heard of or seen again. And when you even compare it to things like the ZT, just for some competitive options, 0203. Now, this one is sporting M4 steel, which arguably will be, will hold its edge a little bit longer. That's been my experience. It's not as rust resistant, but you can see there, it's not terribly larger in the sense of its length. It's more in the weight and the thickness. The ZT is much thicker and it's going to weigh almost double. So that's just something to be aware of. But if you were like kind of contemplating the ZT, but you're like, I don't know, I'm kind of weighing the odds, doing different things, and you want something that's maybe a little slimmer, a little bit lighter, and you prefer Magna Cut maybe over M4, leave a comment if you do. This is definitely an excellent competitor that's a little bit smaller and definitely lighter than that ZT. So, guys, that is the Bareknuckle. I am super impressed with what Kershaw has done, giving us new life in a design, keeping it made here in the USA, still able to execute value is epic. So guys, stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a few more ZTs and Kershaws down the line in the next few weeks. And if you're new to the channel and you like seeing weekly gear reviews, breaking them down and actually using the tools to see what they can and cannot do, I invite you to subscribe, like, share, check out the other video. And until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.